one leg in, and you put one leg out, and then you stick it in, and you shake it all out, and then you hokey pokey. Hey everybody, I'm Philip.
And I'm Justin.
And together we are Pajamas. We are back for round 2 of Inebriated questions. What that is we take shots, we ask each other questions, and then we answer them. Round 1 was with 191 proof Everclear. Mm-hmm. That was a very interesting day. I still have the battle scars on my body from that. It's been about 2 weeks since that video. It took me 2 weeks to edit it because it was 4 hours long. So, for part 2, we are going to downgrade a little bit as far as strength. Mm-hmm. But we decided to go with, this time, sake.
Something a little more traditional. Well, as traditional as we could get.
Yeah, we were trying to get a drinking sake and not a cooking sake. But when you went to the liquor store, this was the only sake they had.
Yes, and it appears to be one that is drinking, not cooking.
Yeah. If it's not, we apologize. We tried. There's really not a lot of options here where we live.
It seems to say on the back about serving suggestions that it can be used for beverages.
Yeah. Yeah, you can make Japanese manor, sake on the rocks, sake screwdriver, sake Bloody Mary. So, for the first time ever, I'm going to try sake. I've never had it.
In my experience, it is wonderful, as long as it's made well.
This is also made in America.
Alright, so maybe it wasn't made by a company that has been making it for hundreds of years, but let's see how it goes.
Brewed in the USA according to the process originated by Gaikaken Sake in Japan in 1637. So,
that could be promising.
Not top shelf, but it's literally the only choice we had. So yeah, we're going to crack this open and we will take the shot and then ask ourselves. First question, another thing about this thing we do. We don't know the questions. Mm-hmm. You put yours on your phone. Mm-hmm. I have some in a notepad that I've been collecting. And so we have no idea what the other's going to ask. So hopefully we don't get so absolutely shit-faced that I'm tripping over things and injuring myself with bruises that are still here 2 weeks later. And then you are not doing embarrassing things that I have to cut out of the video.
Well, since you were the one that had to review all of the footage in detail, I suppose that you had to see that so that you could get it out.
My embarrassing moments were way more prevalent. But here we are. As always, I crack open the bottle on camera. Maybe I don't. Maybe Justin does strength in the relationship. There you go. Boom. You're the click. We have a towel here. We have our 2 shot glasses. There we go. And that's it. First time ever trying sake. So the rules are we take our shot, then we ask the question. And I'm going to be I'm going to try and be way more
careful?
Yes. Okay, so I dribbled a little bit, but that might be expected just because of the nature of how this is. Okay, that's close. We need to get one of those little spout things. This is 15.6% alcohol by volume, which would put it at 31.2 proof.
To make an analogy of that, what would you say that the whiskey that you usually have is?
Whiskey we have is 90 proof. So this is a third of that. All right, here we go. My first ever drink of sake.
Kanpai.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes.
Oh, that's lovely. That is very nice.
I've seen it translated as rice wine, rice beer, even though I don't think that it would be strong enough to be called a liquor, but I would definitely say that I do taste the sweetness of the wine, of the rice in it.
Yeah. My first impression is it's smooth and it's sweet, like you said. I was expecting that kick, some kind of kick. All alcohol usually has a kick, so I hope that we did get drinking sake. This is something I cook with, so I could design a meal this week using sake, which would be fun. I'm used to the whiskey that I like to drink. And then, of course, Everclear from last video was like a massive, like, yeah. Like lava in your mouth.
Did you mention that the whiskey is much more smooth or more clear than the Everclear?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The whiskey's 90 proof. Everclear's like 191, so it's less than half. But the whiskey still has a sharp bite. It's like a very... I mean, 90 proof whiskey's no joke.
It was very smooth. Not only was it your first time with sake, but also the first time having sake while toasting in a Japanese style.
And you got to be part of my first time having sake, knowing what kind of weebs we are. I don't think it's an insult.
Well, neither do I. I simply think that, well, actually, exactly what would you say is the difference? No, wait, I'll lose a question.
Ooh, he caught himself. Speaking of, let's get to the questions. So, as always, beauty before age. So you can go first.
My first question, well, on the subject of things tasting so sweet, like triumph and accomplishment, what would you say is your greatest and most proud accomplishment that you've ever done in your life? The thing that you're the most proud of accomplishing in life?
Oh, man. The thing that I'm most proud of accomplishing.
Yes.
It's gonna sound corny, but like there's like pre-accident and post-accident. That's my life fractured into two different avenues. So in Avenue A, my proudest accomplishment was I'm proud of myself for trying to realize my dream of wanting to go to film school to be a director. I think we talked about that in the last video of this nature. About I wanted to direct movies since I was 5. But also, on a more personal level, I am proud that I waited to lose my virginity. I lost my virginity much later than most other people because I was waiting. I had these standards, criteria that I wanted to be met by someone else in my life. And I met them. I did. It also helped growing up in a time because I'm old. I mean, I haven't had the chance to shave my head recently. I look like a mess, but it's been a rough week. I'm just proud of myself for having standards.
And staying to them.
Yeah. Now, would I go back and do things differently? Yeah, 100%. In the book of life that I'm living, that I've written, errors and all, yeah. Post-accident, I'm proud of surviving everything that I've survived. From the accident to what happened to me, with my family and my relationship and finances and everything. You know my story. It's also on this channel, the What's Wrong With Me series. My life fell apart in a drastic fashion. And the fact that I was able to pull myself out of that, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of my resiliency. And I'm a fighter. And I don't go down without said fight. You know, I walked away from an accident I shouldn't have. I'm breathing after an accident that I probably shouldn't be, by all accounts, from doctors. And the fact that I went through all this struggle and legitimately lost almost everything. My savings, my ex, all of it. And the fact that I persevered through it all and found the inner strength or whatever is something I'm very proud of. My turn, I guess. You're smiling at me. All right, don't look.
Well, it's because it's so encouraging. Your story can encourage so many people with whatever it is that they're going through in life.
Yeah, if you're ever struggling, it's hard to say this, just find the strength. But I've always had a very strong sense of self. So I use that sense of self to it's like a core, like here, and you just kind of hold on to that. And if my words sound weird, my post-COVID glandular issue is acting up very, very badly. But we are going to persevere through that as well. My turn. My questions are on the computer, so you can't look, obviously. If you could be any Disney princess, which one would it be and why? And Justin is a huge Disney fan.
Oh, that's a very easy one. It would be Cinderella.
Oh, and why?
Because of basically what she stands for. Think about her character. She went through everything that she did, and yet she persevered through it with grace and dignity. She was able to even find the joy in her life, even despite that she had become a servant in her own home. And that inspirational song of "A Dream Is a Wish Your Heart Makes," the verse, no matter how your heart is grieving, if you keep on believing, the dream that you wish will come true. But believe in what? Believe in yourself. Keep on trying to get what you want, and if you work hard enough, your dream will come true. That's very inspirational.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I thought it would take a little longer.
Oh no, I've thought about this personally for a long time, and I've thought, well, the princess that basically stands for don't give up on your dreams, well, I'd say is perhaps the most inspirational one that I can think of.
I like how both of our answers are kind of like, be true to who you are and don't give up. That's kind of cool. Here's a shot to me. Come by. Watch us be like cooking sake, and all the comments are going to be like, that's why you're not feeling anything, blah, blah, blah. All right, second shot, second question.
What was your favorite subject in school and what was your least favorite and why?
Favorite subject was maths.
Hmm.
I like the idea that there was a problem with one right answer. There was an exact answer. There was no gray area. This is the answer to this problem. I like that. Least favorite subject? History. Because history is bullshit.
Well, it may depend upon how you look at it, but since you're the one answering the question, would you like to go into detail on that?
Man, I'm going to go into some like woke SJW ranty rant. Let's just say...
How about if you keep it a summary? Simple sentences.
I did. History is bullshit.
Yes, but that's a rather vague thing to say. Do you mean like, as in... that basically history is nothing but tragedy, famine, war?
No. History is... Oh, man, how can I put this? I've already been accused of being woke in more than one video. And honestly, I'd rather be woke than asleep. It's not an insult. It's not real because... I'm not saying it really didn't happen, but the versions we're told are skewed. It's...
The theme of was being... that is continuing in the account that is being made. For example, you aren't denying that the Magna Carta was actually written. You can go to the museum and see this extremely ancient document yourself.
Like we learn things, and then we learn later that this wasn't how it happened. Like we learned Lincoln wanted to free the slaves. Lincoln didn't want to be the president that America seceded. Mm-hmm. He didn't want that on his legacy. Freeing the slaves was just like an afterthought.
Yes, technically that is true. He even once stated that, well, he thought that it would be best if the slaves be sent back to Africa instead of being assimilated into society because he thought that they couldn't be assimilated.
Let's just say this, like white history is problematic. And that's what we're taught. White atrocity is glossed over. From Asians to Native Americans to African Americans. I don't know how to answer it without sounding preachy or a social justice warrior or a snowflake or any of that weird propaganda speak. We'll leave it at that.
Whatever what is trendy is whatever what is trendy in social media that is being used for what he is trying to not appear as, but maybe accused as.
Yeah. Things are not what they seem when it comes to history. It's like an iceberg. There's a history we're taught, then there's a history that really happened. That's why it's bullshit, because we don't get the full stories. We get the stories that they are comfortable telling us that can just serve the narrative of happy America. And this is from an American point of view, being brought up in the American school system. But I look back at what we're taught, and I'm like, this is so fucked up.
I actually like looking in the details of history because it shows that actually the simple sentences that were taught in elementary school, actually nothing in life, including the past, was actually that simple.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I appreciated history more in college when I could take African American history and I could take women's history. And I did, because I wanted to know the other sides of the story. And I appreciated it more. I don't see anything wrong with trying to educate yourself, trying to learn from a different perspective other than your own. And if trying to put yourself in someone else's shoes and empathize with that makes you woke or whatever, then fine. It's not an insult to me. So, yeah. But you asked in school, so I took that as in growing up school. So yeah, in growing up school, history was awful. It was awful. I didn't like it.
This is the first time I've ever heard of being awoken to be an insult.
Oh yeah, it's something that like Fox News conservative people I've been called woke on the channel before in comments. There's a few videos where I've been called woke, and I'm like, okay, cool.
That's new to me. I have never heard of that before.
Moving on, my turn. Questions for Justin. Let's see what we got. On a personal level, what do I do that makes you the happiest?
When you hug me.
Good thing that we hug a lot.
Yes, it's something that's very comforting to me. Mm. Something that always reassures me that you're here if I need you. Mm-hmm. Both physically and emotionally. That I need someone to talk to, and you're here.
And I've worked really hard at not only being someone that you can talk to, but being someone that you can talk to without fear of judgment. If you're feeling sad or feeling anxious or anything, when you feel things or you have something that comes over you and you can't help it, you can't help how you feel. You're just feeling this thing. The best thing I can do is just like, okay, I can't fix it for you because it's just something that has to work its course, like a cold or a virus of the emotions. If you need anything, I'm here. You need to talk, I'm here. And I try and make sure that you know that you are, as I said in the last video, safe and loved, and there's nothing I can do to make it go away, but maybe there's something I can do to make it so that you're not alone.
And those hugs give me that reassurance. That's what I love so much about them.
Cool. But I'm feeling a little tinge of something, but I'm feeling kind of warm. And not just because we have, let's go into our speech. We have all the fans off and the AC off, so you can hear us as we talk. I need to put that disclaimer up. Summer sucks.
I'm not sure if there is such a place. There are places in the world that are eternal summer. Mm-hmm. There are places in this world that are eternal winter. Mm-hmm. We need to find a place that is in an eternal state of autumn.
Yeah, if you know any place on the planet that's eternally autumn, let us know. Because it'd be wonderful. Come by. It's so nice to take a shot and not be scared of it.
Yes.
The shots of Everclear, I was like, you had to psych yourself up. These are just
It was originally made for ceremonial purposes. I suppose that it would make sense that what they do is give you a sense of serene calmness and tranquility.
Yeah.
It's relaxing.
Yeah, it's like flower water. It's fragrant, but not in a pungent way. It's sweet, but it's very light. All right, question 3. Ball is in your court.
Oh, yes. And this is probably very appropriate, since it's Japanese related. Mm-hmm. And one thing that is famous about that place is its mythology and legends. What mythological being would you want to see excluding a genie to grant wishes? So no tricks on using one of the 3 wishes, or especially with 1 wish to wish for more wishes.
Yeah.
People say that it's not allowed, but I've never seen a book of genie granting wishes code that says that.
The genie wish book.
So a mythological being that you would want to actually see.
Oh, man.
You can engage with it if you want to.
The smart-ass answer is God.
Interesting.
But I'm not going to go there. Let's keep the video light, like our drink.
In a way, a sort of twist on what I said about a wish-granting genie.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
All right, you did obey the rule. You didn't necessarily wish for a genie that grants wishes. Instead, you wished for a metaphysical, otherworldly being that grants wishes. That you don't have to rub a lamp to get the attention
rub your hands together and the magical sky wizard will grant you wishes.
Right, and how about if we go into why this particular being instead of anything else like a dragon or a unicorn or anything like that?
I thought of both, actually. Dragons could have existed. Mm-hmm. Unicorns possibly could have existed. Though we have creatures on this planet that could have been descended from both of those.
Yes.
But no, I'm not going to be a dick. I've always said that I want the channel to be inclusive. And, no matter your sex or race or religion or anything. So that's the snarky answer.
And I did say mythological. I didn't say fictional. I said mythological.
You're better at mythology than I am.
Well, yes, because we're dealing with otherworldly things. Whether or not they actually exist is besides the point.
Mythological being.
Yes.
Because the easy answers are what we said, dragons and unicorns.
Yes. What would you want most from a god, though? Why that particular mythological being stood out? This king over this or that domain.
I don't know if I can narrow it down to just one thing I want to know. There's so much I'd want to know.
A piece of his infinite wisdom. That getting wisdom from him, well, you cannot get more wise than that. Someone that has literally seen it all.
Yeah, but if they're that wise, can they even begin to answer anything in a way that would make sense to my human ears? There's more living creatures, living things in the cosmos other than us. And if God exists, it created all of them. For all we know, God looks like a Dalek. We don't know.
Oh, how adorable.
Yeah. That'd be weird. God, exterminate. Kind of makes sense though.
If you do read the text in a particular way,
Mm-hmm. Maybe we should just move on from this question because I
yes, only if you,
tiptoe and
to be fair, only if you pay attention to the more graphic and violent parts instead of the sweet and I love you parts.
almost as if the book was written by two different kinds of people: a vengeful God and a loving God. And in translation and translation and translation and translation and translation.
In a way, I suppose that you could say that there are two sides to every human as well.
But yes, there were one set of footprints in the sand, and that's when I was running away from this discussion. Ooh, you got the kind of like sort of tipsy eyes. You're feeling something.
Well, at the same time,
like to lie.
It is morning, so it's getting close to our bedtime.
That has never had an impact on.
All right, that is true.
Yeah.
Well, I was running out of excuses, and that was the best one that I could come up with at this time.
My question for Justin. What book or movie do you wish you could experience for the first time all over again?
Book or movie that I could experience for the first time?
Mm-hmm.
So as in I have seen it, but then it's taken away, the memory's taken away from me if it was for the sake of having that first experience of seeing it again or reading it again? Is that what you mean by that question?
Think about a book you really like. You're like, man, what if I hadn't read this and I read it again? Like something I could experience again for the first time. A book or a movie that you could just, that just filled you, made you feel something. And if you could just do it again for the first time, what would that be?
Well, remember what you said earlier about Weeb?
Yeah.
Well, it would probably be when I discovered Inuyasha, and from him, the whole genre of anime. Because that was the first anime that I knew was anime.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I had seen anime before, but I didn't know there was anime because they had dubbed it into English. And also consider that I was young. So, yes, in grade school, of course I thought that Sailor Moon was probably made here in a studio somewhere.
Fair. Yeah.
And because, well, they were speaking in English, and they had also edited out some of the Japanese characters and replaced them with English.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes. They
remember that history I was telling you about?
Even including those late 80s, early 90s slang terms that they put in. Yes, they also wanted it to appeal to a younger audience because it was a cartoon, even though it was originally aired for teenagers, so they had to be a bit creative with some of the plots. Take out 1 or 2 episodes.
Welcome to America. Welcome to America. We have to dumb down everything. I guess it's like America just can't handle Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, so we have to be Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It
included Nicholas Flamel, who was a real historical figure in the history of alchemy, but yet people would be able to understand him, but yet not be able to understand basically what alchemy was all about, achieving the Philosopher's Stone.
What's really cool is in Warcraft, you can actually craft a Philosopher's Stone as an alchemist, which I always thought was really, really cool. Nice little touch. So we're on to shot 4?
Yes.
All right. We'll see if we can do 5. We'll see if we can make 5 the shot number.
Young.
Oh, yeah. Well,
she.
Yeah, and she is a little...
It depends upon...
problematic.
It depends upon how...
Superstitious?
Well, yes. I was trying to avoid that one word. Depend upon a person's sensibilities to that number, considering that someone may be listening to this and is sensitive about that. And so, being the Japanese polite way, we would say "yong" for viewers who may be a bit averted by us using she instead of "yong."
Yeah. Since she has relations to death, and we don't want to.
Yes.
All right, question 4 in your court.
This may be a tough one for you.
Okay. The last one was a tough one for me.
Which would you rather have? A personal editor or a personal housekeeper?
Ooh.
I told you that it was hard.
A personal editor, because I love to edit. You know I do. I love to edit. But physically I'm limited. From carpal tunnel to the migraines to my bad back and neck. I can only do so much at a time. Sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's 4. I would like to be able to make more videos and more content. Like I would like for us to be able to watch more TV shows and more movies and just be like, here. An editor would give me more freedom to spread my wings creatively because then I could just do more. But I could even still edit, but like the big projects, like when I did the Everclear video, it took me almost 2 weeks because it was a lot. It was a lot. And that's on top of working on the Doctor Who videos. And then the fun stuff I try to put in between. And yeah, easily an editor. Anyone out there, if you're an editor and your rates are reasonable, contact me. Like even now, I'm like lost in thought of like, what could I do if I had another editor? So yeah, editor, 100%, 100%, 100%.
You were able to answer with much more ease than I thought.
Try harder next time.
All right. But until then, it's your turn.
It's my turn. All right, let's see what I got. What was your most inappropriate or embarrassing fart? Keeping it highbrow.
Since it isn't something that I usually bother to remember.
If you can't answer it, it's fine. I just wanted a random curveball question.
You're speaking to someone that goes to the restroom purely to do that.
You never farted during class or on a bus or during sexy times?
Surely it's had to have happened before, considering how...
It was so traumatic. He's wiped it. He's Men in Black, flashy thinged it from his memory. I expect you to be like, oh, Philip, I don't do such things.
Well, I'm afraid that if I didn't, then I would explode. Like anything else that would if they didn't.
There you go. This is a question for take 2. If you could open up any business, what kind of business would you have?
I suppose that it would have to be with you, though. What if we were to, depending upon location, either open a vegan restaurant or a tea house?
Ooh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun, yeah. I think that would do quite well where we live. Like, you don't see many tea houses. But I also think a vegan restaurant could be fairly good. I'm assuming that I'm doing the cooking.
Well, I assumed that either you or I would be managing... Well, we would be managing it together, and either you would be cooking or we would be having people hired to do that for us. Basically, we would be the ones to decide what is on the menu and what is not. Possibly even develop a chain if it gets popular enough.
Vegan restaurants are hard to branch out beyond locally.
Yes, but it's becoming more popular as time goes by. All that we need is someone to actually make the first step, and that may be us.
If I opened a restaurant... Here's why. If I opened a restaurant, what I would want served would be my recipes, my cooking. Because I'm an massive, arrogant. Watch the Everclear video.
Gordon Ramsay without the profanity, or making other people feel bad about themselves.
I'm also an annoying person in another way. I'm very secretive about the way I cook certain things. And some of it has been passed down to me from my mom. And I'm not sure if she got any of that from my great-grandmother or whatever. Like, I don't know if it's like, in the family lineage of like an heirloom.
And do you want it to die with you?
Not necessarily, but I don't want to just be like, here's how I make blank, make a lot of it for the people that are sitting in the restaurant. The way I make my chili is unique to me. Even my spaghetti sauce is unique to me. You'll never taste spaghetti sauce that tastes like mine. You'll never have chili that tastes quite like mine because I add pubic hairs to it. Just kidding. That's why it's unique. Yeah, so it's like ego and pride. But about what? But about this alchemy that I add a couple of ingredients to that are not traditional. So, but a tea house sounds fun. That sounds like a lot of fun. Shot 5, last shot. I'm feeling pretty good.
Well, I do feel like the furnace is starting to blaze. I would say that this is one to relax to.
Oh yeah, very much so. Everclear, if you want to get absolutely shit-faced really quickly. You can fill a glass and just sip on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can see this pairing with other alcohol well. Like they have the recipes on the back of the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Bloody Mary and the screwdriver and stuff. I can see this being a really nice accompaniment to something. Have this and mix a little bit of the whiskey in it, I think would be wonderful.
I could also easily imagine kampa.
Kanpai. I like to swish liquor in my mouth. Because I don't like that. And this, you can do that.
With this, for example, I could also easily see myself have a saucer of some peaches and have bits of peaches with it.
Yeah. It would go well with a lot of fruit, actually, now that you say that. Like strawberries would be really good. Grapes would be really good. Mm-hmm. Like raspberries and blueberries. Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah. We should make like a liquor smoothie. Just dump an entire bottle in, and some frozen raspberries and blueberries, and then blend it, then drink it.
We could do that.
Keep an eye out for that video, maybe in the future. All right, question 5.
What would you say is, in your whole life, a game that you were the most addicted to? Something that you couldn't turn off. You had to always be on it.
I don't know if there is such a thing.
You would spend hours, and it would only feel like minutes.
I'm pretty good at turning stuff off, but the closest thing... I was a very lonely child. I didn't have very many friends. And the friends I had took me decades to learn that they were not my friends at all. And then growing up how I grew up with what I had to endure, I played a lot of solitaire. A lot of solitaire.
That is very interesting.
And I taught myself all kinds of solitaire. Klondike, regular, pyramid, Four Kings, to the top of my head. I taught myself all kinds of different solitaire. There's the one that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I forget what that one's called. That's one of my favorites.
Is it something like Cell? Or is that something else? Or Hearts?
Hearts is a card game. Like, it took me... I didn't learn Hearts or Spades or Euchre for years because I had no one to play with. So I just played solitaire. Because I liked cards. Because it was just something you could do by yourself. You could pass the time. And I guess solitaire.
That is interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, like with like video games and stuff, no. I can play for a long time. But eventually I'm like, okay, I need to. This is where I need to stop now. But when I first got into Warcraft, that was a time sink. But not nearly as much as solitaire growing up. This is before social media. This is before cell phones. This is before, you were just like... you were an island unto yourself. So if you feel like that, you're going to pass the time. Play some solitaire. Learn different kinds of solitaire. Advice from a lonely child. All right, my turn. If you could instantly learn a talent or skill, what would you want to learn how to do?
There are two that immediately stick out in my mind. Mm-hmm. And it's because it's something that I think would draw attention to talent scouts towards me.
Okay.
Either to sing or to dance.
I would think that dance would be over singing because I know how much you wanted to take ballet when you were growing up, but you weren't allowed.
Yes, dance is something that I have had a very interesting taste for, and I think that I would be very good at it.
But you're very graceful in life in general, so yeah.
Yes, not only in ballet, but other types of dance in general. Basically going to a dance school and maybe be... right now I'm fantasizing into the realm of fiction, but maybe being a side dancer to somebody's music video.
Can you imagine that? Imagine that. Yeah, it's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to do a bonus shot.
Oh.
I'm going to mix the sake with the whiskey. So I gave myself that idea, and I like that idea. So I'll be right back. I have to go grab the whiskey. Whiskey, best whiskey you can get for the price and for how good it is. If people are like, oh, he's getting tipsy drunk on cooking sake. Oh, well, I'm a lightweight, I guess. Maybe they're like, Americans won't know the difference. They're stupid. And clearly, we don't know. So we have now a bonus shot. But with bonus shot comes bonus rules. The bonus rules are not for us. The bonus rules are for you. For the 6th shot, anyone watching, ask us a question. You want Justin to answer it, or do you want me to answer it? Ask us a question, and if we get enough of them, we'll do a future video where we ask those questions.
That was a surprise to me. I actually didn't know that he was going to do that. It's as much of a surprise to you as it is to me.
So there you go. I should put my surprise crown on, but you know what? Here we are. So now we have this nice ambery looking spirit kampai.
Kampai.
See how this tastes? Interesting. Oh, the kick on the back end of that. Once you swallow it and then it hits you. I think I like that more than he did.
Yes.
Like you swallow it.
Why?
So you swallow it and it's just like, ooh. You get the sake whiskey. I almost said sake whiskey. The sake and whiskey, but then when you swallow it, the whiskey like returns a kick. And it's like, ooh, that's rather pleasant. Yeah, that was interesting. I like that. And that just bumped me up a little bit. Yeah.
It is an interesting mix.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So question 6. Question 6. In the comments below, ask us questions, and then we will answer them. Either in the comments or in a future video. Which I think it'd be fun to do a future video of like viewer questions. So
yes, and they could be any questions.
This is offensive or spam. Overall, a very pleasant first experience with sake.
Oh yes, it's serene and aromatic in its own way.
Mm-hmm.
I can easily see sake being used for cooking.
Oh, yeah. Like, it has that sweetness to it. Like, I really want to make a stir fry now. Yeah, I'll have to cook something this week, hopefully, with sake. So I've never cooked with it before. I need to know, I need to add it to the dish, obviously, but, like, when and, like, because my cooking process is very, regimented.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's true.
To the point that if I'm cooking, like, 4 things at the same time, all 4 of those things will finish at the same time. Like, I keep everything so I need to know, like, when to add it, and, how much and all that stuff. So I'll look into that. Make a meal. Some sake. I think it could add a really interesting flavor to the meal. Yes, this was a nice number 2 video. Feeling pretty good.
So am I.
Good.
I feel relaxed.
Yeah, that's the thing, like, the Everclear gets you fucked up.
Yes.
And you're just like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Very quickly.
If you need to pass out onto the bed, something that will knock you out, that will be it.
If you need to pass out onto anything,
yes,
it will do the trick. But if you want to feel like relax, okay. This is nice. Sake will do the trick. I recommend mixing it with whiskey. This is when you're tipsy/drunk. I'm not like drunk, but I'm definitely tipsy because I'm like, what if I have one more? Which was the danger zone that we ran into.
Only because we did that too many times.
Yeah, we needed to stop at 3.
What if you were to only do that once instead of multiple times?
Did you want any more?
Yes.
Alright, so we have 2 more ambery shots of sake and whiskey. It'll be smooth going down, then it'll kick you at the end. There it is. Ooh, that's such a nice kick. Mix your sake with whiskey. That was wonderful.
Speak for yourself, man.
You're so cute.
Yes, I am. How good of you to notice.
What do you mean? I must be great then, because I notice every day.
Yes.
I tell you every day. Specifically, when you do something that's very adorable or cute, I point it out.
Yes, well, the reason why I brought that up is because while I was at the store, at the speaker, there was a special short for Pride Month, in which someone said, "You are amazing." At which point I then thought, I know. How good of you to notice Mysterious voice coming from the ceiling?
Well, you know me, and I like to get the most value for the dollar. Which is why we get the whiskey. Because you get that big old jug, and it's 90 proof, and it gets the job done.
Yes, it's only a little, so it will last longer.
Right. This, we went through half the bottle already. And the last 2 were with whiskey. Give it a punch, which you didn't like. There's a question. What do you like the taste of that most people don't? There you go. Question number 6. I think is question number 7. I don't know what we're on.
In case, cheat.
You know I've had enough when you forget what number question you're on.
Well, there's something that I do like the taste of that you really don't like the taste of. That I now remember. Those fishless fillets.
Oh, God, those things are gross.
Oh, yes, and one possible reason why is because at the store I have actually seen that they do sell this. They sell little packets of seaweed to have as a snack.
I've had them.
Oh, yes, there's nori, but there are also little square packets that are salted.
Yeah.
And yes, I cannot get enough of them. And well,
They're
many
not
people
bad.
probably don't like the taste of seaweed, but I really like the taste of it. And it actually did bring up something profound. Why I kept on liking fish so much. Because there's something about fish that I really want to keep on eating it. But then when I tasted the seaweed, I thought, this reminds me of seafood. And then I made the connection. We are what we eat, but also everything else that lives. So what do the fish eat besides other fish? Seaweed! So that's it, and they're also swimming in it. They eat it, they shower in it, they go to the bathroom and swim in it. Anyway, basically that flavor in seafood that I kept on wanting to always have, what do you know? It was here the whole time. Seaweed.
Eureka.
Yes. Which is why, for example, when I went to a Japanese restaurant, only one at the table that ordered a seaweed salad.
Oh.
And yes, and I really liked the taste of it.
Even before I went vegan, I don't like seafood. And that's a whole other video. I have a whole mental process about why I don't like seafood. I hate the way it tastes. I hate the way it smells. We will buy fishless fillets for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to air out the kitchen as fast as I can. And you hear me, I'm like, oh God, it smells like crap in here. Because it does. It smells so bad. Props to the vegan companies that can make it smell like the real thing. But good God, stop doing so well.
When I ate those, it was like I was actually having a real fish fillet. It smelled and tasted like the real thing.
Gross.
And yes, and I already imagine that people thinking that I like that green stuff that floats in the water. Well, there are probably things that you like that I would consider disgusting.
You eat things that have like secretions from beaver anal glands. Who the fuck is anyone to judge him?
At least mine is a weed.
Ooh, there you go. Ain't nothing wrong with some weed.
It's a weed, not the secretion of some other thing.
Yeah, okay, we'll leave it at that.
All of a sudden, I'm in the mood for fishless fillets. That stare of yours is probably a signal to me that I shouldn't go further into that and simply join you in saying, well, we'll see you in the next video.
Justin is segueing us into our outro. We're done, apparently. I totally lost my train of It hit.
You have to let it sit.
Yeah, it
flows through the body
it
slowly.
does, yeah. Then it hits you. I'm feeling pretty good right now. But yes, thank you for joining us on another journey through us getting to know each other a little more and bonding and all that love stuff. Caro mia.
Mon cher.
And we'll see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.
Ja.
Mr. Fancy Outro. You don't upstage me. Well, you do all the time anyway because you're pretty. That is true, yes.
You know me well. You knew that I was going to say that.
Mm-hmm.
So, excuse me, but don't excuse me. Sumimasen, but no sumimasen.
There you go.